While the music played, you were by candlelight. Those San Francisco nights, you were the best in town. Just by chance you crossed the diamond with the pearl, turned it on the world. When you turn the world around, did you feel like Jesus? Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? On the hill the stuff was laced with kerosene, but yours was kitchen clean. No one stopped to stare at your Technicolor motorhome. Your friend had your number on the wall. You must have had it all. You go to LA on the dare and you go alone. Could you live forever? Could you see the day?
All right, again, welcome to the Valencia race here, Precision Racing League. Again, this is Valencia. Here we are, qualifying 10th here. Didn't get a very good qualifier here. Again, we have Whittod 2 here, TW, and of course Whittod 3 is up above. That is grandson Francisco. And here is the start of the race. Kind of plowing in the back of Disco here. A little warping going on there. Looks like Mughal Slam got slammed, so he's out of the picture right there. Here, of course, we see Wolfman right ahead of me here. Notice, again, could hit him right here, could pass him. I decide not to do that. Wolfman hits a little, gets Rob a little bit. I hit Rob right here a little bit. I think John Rob and I had a few interesting turns up here. Again, trying to mind my P's and Q's here. I don't want to get too hot and heavy on anybody. Well, there's a couple times I think that I got pretty close between myself and John Rob, and but as we can see here, getting into the 6th position here after the 10th qualifier. Here we kind of break a little bit. Look at how Rob hits Wolfman. I kind of hit John Rob. Now here I wait. Again, I could probably come around him, but I decided to wait. Yeah, again, the whole idea behind races like this in the rain, or any race for that matter, is you don't need to take yourself out. It's still early, first lap. We did get a good start here, from a standing start, I should say. We didn't have to do the normal pre-lap installation lap, or I get a little hot, a little heavy right here to the John Rob right here. And at this point, I was going to get on the mic and apologize, but I couldn't. So I do apologize, John Rob. That might find me actually in the Stewart right there. I'm not sure. There was a couple initial corners back there that John Rob got a little out of shape there, and I did hold back on that one. But that one I think was definitely maybe more of a racing accident. But I guess we'll find out if I make it to the Stewards panel for that one. But anyways, make it up to 5th place here. Wolfman's ahead of me. Of course, this order will come. This order will come to be, I think, at the end of the race here. So take note of the order at this point. Wolfman in 4th, TW, Whittod 2, and 5th. I think at this point, Whittod 3, which is Francisco, the grandson, he's actually in 2nd place, I think. Had a pretty good run, pretty good qualifier. I couldn't quite get my laps figured out. By the time I did, I was run out of time here in the qualifier. So, but I knew starting 10th that, as we were practicing during the week, you make one little mistake and dry, you hit the wall. And I knew when it was raining that typically, unless you can really maintain some consistency, you're going to find yourself in the wall. I think a few people ended up under that scenario. So again, usually in the rain, we end up lifting the chassis up all the way, so we don't hydroplane. Of course, I think we are running intermediate tires here. But at this point, just trying to settle in here in the first couple laps. I had a problem on the start of the race. Just as we got here, of course, I'm running this version off Steam, and for my grandson under Whittod 3, we were actually on the DVD version of the game, and we did some practicing. I think late afternoon, and then by the time we turned on the game, he was practicing under Steam. But then when we booted up his computer, I realized I didn't actually get the new patch that came out yesterday. So as we are sitting here watching watching this video on a review, the first thing I'm thinking of is we didn't get the computer up and running because it would actually start up and boot up, and then of course it would crash in the game. Then I realized we didn't have the update. So with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, we finally got the update installed and got Francisco's. Now here's Francisco right here. Yeah, with top 3 there. He apparently spun, and he was in second for a while there, and that's a shame. But give him some slack. He's 11 years old, and although he's fast, we're trying to work on his consistency. We did several 50-lap races over the weekend and a bunch of 20% races. So I felt he was ready. I knew he was going to be here this evening for Thanksgiving weekend. Now, see, I tell him don't be passing in this area. Wait for the straightaway. Of course, I don't think we have DRS here because of the fact of the rain, but you'll find here in a couple of laps that even with top 3 or Francisco was actually pressing me here a little bit. And of course, when you're raining and you're racing here, and again, you got to wait for the checkup. I mean, there's going to be that accordion effect into the corners. There, he finally spins it, so that was a free gift. Thank you very much. And I think he said he might have actually touched Wolfman there. I don't know. To see what the remarks show in the post-race remarks. And I think, as usual, Joe's up here laying down some fast laps. Of course, you can look at your lower left here. You can see the track map of the cars running. So at this point, I'm in 4th. I'm feeling pretty good. Qualified 10th, by the way. So I thought, well, the fact that I can get around my arch rival, Disco Potato, he tends to be. A few of those guys tend to be guys I seem to be competing with as far as qualifying and lap times. Joseph fast lap here, 143.545, laying it down to my 147.6. Of course, we do have the new patch on here, 0.1. I think it's 1.2. It's supposed to fix some of the bugs. I think we're all running 11.11 here. Although I'm not sure if I noticed a little difference. I think there was some commentary in the room here before the start of the race that some of the guys were feeling the cars were a little different than what they remember on their practice routines through Grandprix mode. But overall, I think it was pretty good. Again, usually with most races and most of the league members, I think I could probably speak for them saying that sometimes our biggest enemy is ourselves, and that we got to make sure that we stay on the line, find our turning points. Although I think Moogle Slam did get slammed there out of that first corner, and I think he was having some difficulty just trying to get back with it. Of course, as you get hit, or you hit the wall, or you have a flat tire, of course that gives you that unscheduled pit stop, and at that point sometimes that actually rattles you enough. But the rain, of course, is called the great equalizer. Sometimes some of the slow guys like myself sometimes can make up a little bit of a difference. Although I don't think I'm incredibly fast here. If you look at the end times, I think what's interesting is it's about consistency and trying to just not overdrive the car. I had a problem right here. This corner right here and the next corner, I actually spun it a few times in qualifying. Didn't really feel like I was actually at full throttle. It was a 143.383 by Joel. I'm turning a little. There's Wolfman getting a little out of shape right here. Lap 4 of 29. Again, it's interesting when I review this video that, of course, we'll make note of this at the end of the lap with Wolfman in 3rd, TW in or Whittod 2 or TW in 4th, Disco Potato just behind me. And as seen with the previous races, I think, of course, this track reminds me of just basically a wider version of Monaco. You make one mistake, there's a wall there, and you touch the wall, you're going to break your wing. And, of course, when you shatter the front of your car, you got to come in for a pit stop. And typically, when you're touching the wall when other guys aren't, you're not going to finish on top of the order. So as usual, we'll just make commentary here through the whole race and just divvy it up for the videos. Sounds like everyone's enjoying the commentary and the video highlight. Interesting perspective to see it from this mid-pack view. As you can see in the lower left corner here, you got the track map with the dots in front of my red dot, and of course the dots behind. I believe that's Whittod 3 or Francisco, and I think Disco Potato. He must have came around Disco. Now, just before we started the race, there's Joel 143.165 fast lap. We did have some conversations between myself and Whittod 2, that is, and Whittod 3, that he's a fill-in driver. He's not really in the league. Again, Francisco's 11 years old, in 6th grade. Usually is getting ready for bed around this time we start this race, although he's been invited to possibly join the league, and we're going to talk to Mother to find out if he can actually do this on Tuesday night. And okay, there is I think that's Marco right there. So Marco doing a great job. Yeah, Marco's still having problems with Mumble, and we got to get Marco. I think he was actually on Mumble, if I remember hearing him before the start. Now, again, that concept of running driver's assistance with regards to traction control. Just before I started the race, I remembered to turn my traction control on. And I've been running the last few races with medium traction control. Again, still running the Logitech Momo pedals, where they don't seem to have a lot of resistance to them, so it's very easy to go full throttle. And I think what happened is some of the guys are running no assistance on the throttle control. There's Rain Elbow rather destroyed their vehicle, so he's out. And I think some of the guys might not have had enough practice, I think is what I was hearing before the start of the race. Of course, he pulled out of the race. Although I don't dare read that when I'm riding. I saw those messages pop on the screen. I don't dare take my eyes off that leading edge of the track there. It just takes a second to touch the wall there. So I figured whatever that gray box says, it's not good for the person that popped in there. Okay, getting a little faster time here for my pace, which is expected. Still a little confused about some of the lapping. I know there was an issue. I know there's Whittod 3 right behind me. If you look at that lower dot, we did have a conversation about, he doesn't need to press. I said, don't be pressing. I said, I'm racing for league points. You don't need to press me. And I think this is going lap 7 or 8. And he's just sitting right on me. And, of course, I believe he's actually using a less powerful or my older computer. And I'm thinking, well, usually with that dot separation, whatever it is 0.3 of a second. That can be absorbed very quickly under the braking zone. So I'm just thinking to myself, don't tag me. Don't hit your teammate, right? Now, he was asked to change to Red Bull, and I think Phil did show up here to race the McLaren. So, although I should note right now in the video that if McLaren ever opens up for next year, I'd like to get that seat. But maybe we'll have to. I think everybody wants the faster teams, right? But happy with Red Bull as well. So it's more about the driver than it is about the car, after all, right? But ultimately, do notice that Francisco's sitting right on me here, and I'm just hoping he's not going to. At this point, I don't have to go real deep. He's thinking about passing me, as you see by the indicator arrows there on the video. I'm just hoping he doesn't tag me here. And we had specific instructions before the start of the race. Do not interfere with my race. That if you're faster, and he did out-qualify me, by the way. I think he qualified 6th, and I qualified 10th. But not to do anything foolish. I said it's a long race, and of course we're on the Mumble Whisper channel, and I'm just having a conversation with him here. And I'm sure glad we raised that ride height to 10 or 12 right there, or 10 or 11, I think. Had a problem with this corner right there. Just could not take that full throttle. I felt a little. I didn't feel very sure of the car at that point. Yeah, I wish there was a way to actually look deeper in the order, but I'm not sure I would need to do that. You just need to know who's ahead and who's behind you. Okay, so here we come into the braking zone. That's when Francisco goes a little deep right here. Look at that, 0.2 of a second. Tags me right here. Pushes me right off the corner there, and of course at this point I'm kind of raising my voice. So I apologize to the kid. But I'm saying things like, I told you not to do that. And of course there goes J Digital, and the first thing I thought of is I don't get in front of J Digital too often. And then there he is, he waits for me, and I'm like, well, what are you waiting for? If you already hit me, you might as well just go. But he's nice enough to wait for me.